Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I continue to bring you another episode of Tutien's story. A new day for Tutien begins in a familiar way, yet it never feels repetitive or dull, because within those simple moments lies a unique kind of warmth. Before the sun has fully risen, when the air still carries the coolness of early morning, Tutien quietly wakes up and starts her day with the usual tasks in her small kitchen. She carefully rinses each handful of sticky rice, gently handling every grain as if cherishing it, removing even the smallest impurities to preserve its natural purity and fragrance. Beside her are the prepared mung beans, clean banana leaves, and neatly arranged firewood waiting to be lit, all organized with care, like a routine deeply rooted in her daily life. For Tutien, making cakes is not just a way to earn extra income, it has become an inseparable part of her life. It is a time for her to focus, to reflect, and to feel the sense of peace she always tries to protect. Each cake she wraps carries not only ingredients, but also patience, dedication, and her simple hopes for a more stable future. That is why, even though the work repeats itself day after day, she continues to do it with care and appreciation. As her hands move skillfully with each cake, her mind drifts back to the time when Jack once bought her a particularly fragrant type of sticky rice. The memory of its aroma lingers vividly, bringing a soft smile to her face. She quietly tells herself that if there is a chance, she will ask him to buy more, so she can make even better batches of cakes. It is such a small, ordinary thought, yet it reveals how Jack has gradually become a familiar and important presence in her life. She remembers him not through grand gestures, but through the smallest details, from the kind of rice he chose to the way he quietly prepared things for her without needing to be asked. The morning passes in the steady rhythm of her work. Tutien continues wrapping cakes, each one completed with care and precision. When everything is ready, she lights the fire, places the pot on the stove, and patiently waits. Nearly 3 hours of cooking is not a short time, but for her, it is a necessary pause, a moment to think about her plans. Amid the rising steam and warmth of the fire, she maintains her optimism. She believes that as long as she keeps working hard, as long as she tries a little more each day, good things will eventually come. Making cakes, selling them at the market, saving small amounts little by little, all are slow but steady steps on the path she has chosen. Her thoughts are not unrealistic or dreamlike, they are grounded and practical. She understands her situation and knows that everything takes time and perseverance. Because of that, she values every day she gets to work, to strive, and to see even the smallest results of her effort. Deep down, she always hopes that one day, her persistence will bring a greater change, not only for herself, but also for the people she cares about. In another place, while Tutien is busy with her work, Jack is facing his own concerns. His life does not revolve only around daily tasks, but also around the responsibilities he quietly carries. Among them, what weighs on him the most right now is his mother's situation. Trusting a longtime friend, she had decided to invest her savings, but things did not go as expected. The amount was not small, and for someone of her age, it was nearly her entire sense of security for the rest of her life. Since that incident, she has not been able to remain as calm as before. Sleepless nights and growing worries have left her increasingly exhausted. She blames herself for trusting too easily, for unintentionally putting her son in a difficult position. Deep down, she feels guilty, afraid that she has become a burden to Jack. Yet, contrary to her fears, Jack has never blamed her or shown frustration. He accepts everything calmly, as if it were a responsibility he is willing to carry. He quietly gathers all the related documents, carefully studying every detail on his own. Without complaints or noise, Jack chooses to handle everything with calmness and strength. He understands that what matters now is not assigning blame, but finding a solution to ease his mother's burden. The love he has for her is not expressed through words, but through actions, through patience and his quiet determination to take care of everything. These things create a natural connection between two people, even though they are in different places, each facing their own circumstances and worries. One is diligently building her life through the simplest efforts, while the other silently carries the weight of family responsibilities with steady strength. And perhaps, it is from these simple yet sincere things that their story continues to unfold, opening new chapters where emotions and connections will only grow deeper over time. Amid the busyness of life and the worries that never seem to fade, Jack never forgets the promise he made to Tien. In his memory, the image of the small, gentle girl walking quietly along long roads every day, without a single complaint, remains vivid. Something as simple as knowing how to ride a bicycle, or not, becomes, to Jack, something worth thinking deeply about. He understands that with just a small means of transportation, her life could become a little less exhausting. And sometimes, easing even a small burden is enough to make someone feel lighter. That is why, early in the morning, before the day's work truly begins, Jack stops by a familiar bicycle shop. Not because he has too much free time, but because in his heart, Tien holds a very clear priority. He walks into the shop with focus and care, not choosing just any bike to get it over with, but taking time to consider every detail. He does not pick flashy or complicated designs, nor does he look for anything too strong or bulky, because he knows those would not suit someone as gentle and simple as her. Instead, he searches for a bicycle that is light, easy to control, and comfortable enough for her to learn without fear. When he remembers that Tien has never ridden a bicycle before, he becomes even more careful. He is not only thinking about buying the bike, but also about the difficulties she might face when starting. He asks carefully about installing small training wheels on both sides to support her learning, even though he knows such accessories are usually meant for children's bikes. But that does not stop him. He still decides to buy the training wheels, then takes the bicycle to a nearby workshop, asking a mechanic to help adjust them. Pieces of metal are cut and welded carefully so they can fit onto an adult bicycle, all done under his attentive observation. Every small detail in that process is not just preparation in a physical sense, but a sincere expression of Jack's care for Tien. He does not simply want to give her a bicycle, he wants to help her overcome her initial fear, to avoid unnecessary falls, and to spare her the embarrassment of struggling with something new. He thinks of everything before it even happens, as a quiet way of protecting her from small things that might discourage her. It is this thoughtfulness that makes his action far more meaningful than the value of an ordinary gift. Meanwhile, on the other side of the story, after finishing her batch of cakes, Tien moves on to another familiar part of her day. When the cakes are fully cooked, releasing their gentle aroma, she carefully sets aside a portion, almost out of habit. That portion is not for sale, it is for Jack, a simple gesture filled with quiet affection. After that, she takes the rest to the market and begins her day of selling with all the sincerity she carries. The warm cakes, made from sticky rice and mung beans, are not elaborate, but they hold a unique flavor. Perhaps it is that simplicity that draws people in. Passers-by stop to buy a few, some buy more, and others, curious about the aroma, decide to try. The atmosphere around Tien's small stall gradually becomes more lively. She always greets customers with a gentle smile, sometimes even adding an extra piece as a token of thanks. These small gestures make people feel closer to her and more willing to support her. It does not take long before all her cakes are sold out. Looking at the now empty basket, Tien cannot hide the joy on her face. It is not joy from earning a large amount of money, but from seeing her efforts being recognized. The long hours in the kitchen, the heat by the stove, all seem to be rewarded through the genuine support of those around her. To her, it is a feeling worth cherishing, the feeling of creating something with her own hands and having it appreciated. As the afternoon slowly fades, Tien returns home carrying that quiet happiness with her. There is nothing extravagant, nothing particularly special, yet it is these simple joys that make life feel warmer. She continues with her familiar tasks, tidying up, stepping into the garden to pick vegetables and tomatoes for dinner. Everything unfolds gently, slowly, as if time itself has softened to preserve this peaceful moment. While working, she softly chats with the little cat in the house, telling it how she managed to sell all her cakes today. Even without a reply, having a listener like that is enough to make her feel happier. Those quiet murmurs, those simple actions, all come together to paint a picture of an ordinary life. And within that simplicity, one can truly feel the beauty of living, when people learn to appreciate the small things, find joy in what they have, and cherish the sincere emotions in every passing moment. Then Jack returned, his presence bringing a liveliness to the peaceful afternoon. The image of him standing at the door, with a brand new bicycle beside him, made Tien freeze for a moment. She was both surprised and deeply moved, her gaze lingering on the bicycle before shifting back to Jack, as if she could hardly believe what she was seeing. A mix of emotions rushed through her, joy, shyness, and even a hint of playful reproach as she recalled how she had once said she didn't need it, that she was used to walking. Yet, standing before such thoughtfulness, any trace of complaint seemed to soften. She gently teased him for buying it anyway, her voice carrying a touch of hesitation, but her eyes could not hide the happiness rising within. Jack simply smiled, his familiar, quiet smile that needed no show, yet always brought a sense of comfort. He said simply that he saw how tiring it was for her to walk every day and wanted to make things a little easier for her. Not only did he buy the bike, but he had also carefully added 2 training wheels on both sides, hoping to ease her fear as she began learning. None of it was extravagant, yet it held a deep and sincere care. The gift was not about value or display, but about the thought and understanding behind it. Before stepping outside to try the bike, Tien suddenly remembered the portion of cakes she had set aside. She invited Jack in, carefully unwrapping each piece and offering them to him, a slight nervousness visible in her eyes. It seemed that waiting for his reaction made her heart race even more than standing in front of the new bicycle. Jack took a bite slowly, then nodded with a gentle compliment. The cakes were delicious, rich, and fragrant. He even joked that if she kept making them this good, she should open her own cake shop. That simple remark was enough to light up Tien's face. Her smile was not just from being praised, but from the happiness of having her quiet efforts recognized by someone she cared about. To her, that meant far more than any polite compliment. The atmosphere grew lighter when Tien suddenly remembered the flute she had bought at a fair. She brought it out and handed it to Jack, her eyes filled with curiosity as she asked if he knew how to play. Jack took the flute, lifted it to his lips, and played a few familiar notes. Though not perfect, the melody carried the simple charm of countryside memories. The sound of the flute drifted through the quiet afternoon, gentle and soothing. It seemed to weave into every corner, bringing with it a calm that was hard to describe. It was much like their lives at that moment, not yet complete, still with gaps and things to work toward, yet warm with companionship and understanding. After those peaceful moments, Jack led Tien to a flat stretch of road near the house to begin practicing. Standing in front of the bicycle, Tien could not help but feel nervous. Thoughts of balance, of falling, of unfamiliar movements made her hesitate. She feared the bike might tilt, that the training wheels might not be steady enough, that she might not be able to control it. But Jack stayed by her side the entire time, patiently guiding her step by step. He adjusted the wheels, held the bike steady, and gently instructed her how to look straight ahead, how to place her feet on the pedals, how to pedal slowly and keep rhythm, how to brake when needed. His words were more than just instructions, they were quiet encouragement. He did not rush her or put pressure on her, only gently reminded her to stay calm and trust herself. Not to focus on the fear beneath her feet, but to lift her eyes forward, toward the road waiting ahead. That patience gradually helped Tien feel at ease. She began to try, still trembling at first, still hesitant, but slowly, step by step, she grew accustomed to balancing. With the support of the training wheels and Jack's presence, her first attempts became easier. From being afraid to even lift her feet, she managed to pedal her first rounds. From hesitation, she learned how to steer, how to turn, how to stop at the right moment. Each small progress made her happier, more confident. At one point, Jack even sat behind so she could try carrying him, making her both nervous and excited. Laughter echoed along the quiet road, blending with the rhythm of the turning wheels, creating a truly special moment. That moment, though simple, carried a deep meaning. It was not just about Tien learning to ride a bicycle, but about her taking steps beyond her own limits. Self-doubt slowly gave way to confidence, fear gradually made room for belief. And throughout that journey, Jack was not just a guide, but a steady support she could rely on. Everything seemed to flow naturally from what had come before, as each of them continued trying in their own way to make life a little better, one step at a time. That day's story did not have any dramatic turning points, nor was it filled with loud promises. Yet within those ordinary moments, many beautiful meanings quietly emerged. It was the image of a hard-working girl, someone independent, someone who strives from the smallest things. It was the image of a responsible young man, devoted to his mother, thoughtful toward the one he loves, always doing more than he says. And it was also a reminder that in life, happiness does not always come from grand things. Sometimes, happiness is simply a portion of cake set aside, a bicycle with training wheels attached, an afternoon spent learning together, or a gentle reassurance, "It's okay, just be confident." Amid the burdens of money, work, and unresolved worries, Jack and Tien still choose to live kindly, to work hard, and to care for each other through sincere actions. And perhaps, that is what matters most. Because as long as people still strive for one another, still treat each other with gentleness, then no matter how difficult life becomes, there will always be hope to keep moving forward. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the next episodes, and please give this video a like to support me.
Xin chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người video về câu chuyện của Tự Tiên và Giác nha mọi người. Câu chuyện hôm nay thì xoay quanh việc chính đó là Giác đã tạo cho Tự Tiên một bất ngờ, đó là anh đã mua cho cô một chiếc xe đạp và đã cùng dạy cô tập đi, cũng như là sự việc xoay quanh việc hội thoại của bà Thu và mẹ Lợi. Vậy thì mọi chuyện diễn ra tiếp theo sẽ như thế nào, liệu có thuận lợi, việc làm ăn của mẹ Thu và bà Lợi có thuận lợi hay không, và liệu Giác và Tự Tiên có tập đi xe đạp thành công hay không, và món quà của Giác khiến cho Tự Tiên vui vẻ như thế nào, thì hãy đón xem tập sau để biết thêm chi tiết nhé mọi người.